Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Request, repay, repeat with Ariza's FlexiCredit Evergreen Loan Facility. Qualify for a FlexiCredit with limits up to $25,000 or use your home equity to qualify for more. Extra cash at your fingertips whenever you need it, accessed using your debit card, and managed using Ariza's mobile internet experience app. FlexiCredit allows you the flexibility to top up to your approved limit any day, anytime. Already a member? Send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987. New members join today to apply. Request, repay, repeat. Use your FlexiCredit for vacations, shopping, wedding, general expenses, and more. Ariza loan terms and conditions apply. Ariza Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Shop with confidence at Quartz. Get the lowest prices guaranteed. Get appliances, furniture, electronics, and so much more. If you find a lower price on any other products elsewhere, we'll match the price. Plus, we'll give you back 110% of the difference. Shop with confidence only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only. All right, and of course we want to say hello and welcome to everybody tuned in to another Mikey Live program. My name is Mikey Hutchinson, and we are coming to you live from the Spice Isle of the Caribbean, that is Grenada. So tonight we have a special feature following the news. We'll be talking to the Director of Mental Health and Substance Use in the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. That's Mr. Josh Hector. Also on tonight's program, Andre Fletcher, the man of the moment. Men charged with sexual and firearm-related offenses and robbery with violence, as well as a mechanic has been charged in connection with an accident that happened in St. David. So we have a couple of things to talk to you about on the program. Reminding you the headlines brought to you through the kind compliments of Quartz Grenada Limited, Digicel, Nawasa, Real Value IGA Supermarket, Superb Distributors. We've got the Beacon Insurance on board. We also have Ariza Credit Union on board, and all the other sponsors. We want to say thank you for being with us. Of course, we are going to take that quick break and come back. When we come back, is real news in Olililolo. So brace yourselves. We will be back.
Welcome to the future of shopping with Real Value IGA mobile app. Now, your favorite supermarket is right in your pocket. Whether you're a student, a busy parent, or in the diaspora shopping for friends and family at home, a Yachty, or a Grenadian, our mobile app has you covered. Shop online with our mobile app from anywhere and enjoy free delivery to St. George and St. David. Or you can pick up your groceries in-store, hassle-free. Convenience, savings, and a seamless experience in Grenada. All right here at your fingertips. Download the Real Value IGA mobile app and start shopping today. Real Value IGA, bringing the supermarket to you.
the reason for your happiness, peace of mind, and smile. The caring companion that supports you with your goals. Your ally in the fulfillment of your dreams. Think of us as someone you share your life with. Your friend Ami, a Ryza mobile and internet experience, keeping you in touch and in the know on your journey to financial freedom. A Ryza Credit Union, your financial freedom, your future.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
All right, family. Hello again, and welcome to another Mikey Live program. We're getting straight into just a few news items, and then we're going to get into our interview with Mr. Josh Hector. Now we are getting information from the police that Mr. Joel Blackman, who is an 18-year-old mechanic of Lassages in St. David, was arrested and charged by police yesterday for the offenses of driving without a driver's license and driving without due care and attention. Now, these charges were brought against Mr. Blackman following investigations into a motor vehicular accident involving two omnibuses, which occurred along the Lassages Main Road on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. 12 passengers sustained minor injuries, including 7 students. They were transferred, treated, and discharged from the St. David's Medical Station and the General Hospital, respectively. Now, Mr. Blackman is scheduled to appear at the St. David's Magistrates Court. That will be on Tuesday, 4th November 2025. Still in police news, Siobhan Stephen, a 26-year-old kitchen assistant of Luther's Lane, St. George, also Jassim Theobals. I didn't make the name, I never heard about it before. He's a 27-year-old chef. And Jeremy, of the same last name, 25 years old, unemployed, both of Mount 2 St. George, were arrested and charged by police on Monday, 29 September 2025. That's with possession of a firearm, possession of ammunition, possession of firearm with intent, kidnapping, housebreaking, and stealing. 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of robbery with violence, 2 counts of indecent assault, and 2 counts of forcible detaining of a person to have sexual intercourse. Now, additional charges of possession of firearm, possession of ammunition, possession of firearm with intent, housebreaking and stealing, and attempted robbery have also been laid against Jassim Theobals. I don't know, maybe if I guess I'm not pronouncing that, I cannot be pronouncing that last name correct. So maybe somebody could break it up in syllables for me, because I've not seen that before, and I'm sure that would sound very different, the actual pronunciation of that word, than what I'm saying right now. All 3 men are expected to make their they actually made their first court appearance today. So somebody who's watching probably could break it up in syllables and spell it for me online the way it is pronounced, so that I get the correct thing for in the future. All right, but yeah, like I said, I've never in my career encountered a last name like that. Okay, so right, the next thing that we have to tell you about by Mr. Andre Fletcher is breaking the internet. And you may ask, well, why is Mr. Andre Fletcher breaking the internet? I'll tell you why. check out the figures here. Check out these figures here. So they had a first ever auction, for the players or who's going to play in the league, right? And some players got up to 10,000 US. Many players, 10,000, some 20, some 40, some noticeable names at 80,000. You understand? When it came to bidding for Mr. Andre Fletcher, all right, that's for the DP World IL T20, all right? This was the final figure, 260,000 US dollars. Real cash for Andre Fletcher. That was the highest paid cricketer for the tournament this year. You understand? 260,000 US. You understand? He's playing for the MI Emirates. Let me tell all of this. I know that hurt some people because he had big names in there too. He had big names. But guess what? Nothing no goes so. Andre Fletcher was a person the team managers and so on was willing to pay the most for. That's our Spice Man. You understand? That is something to feel proud of. Very, very proud of. You understand, Andre? Good going, bro. I really appreciate what you have done for yourself, your family, and of course, for our nation. Your name don't call enough. This man has been flying the flag for years. Years. Your name don't fly enough because he's not too flamboyant. I mean, he's flamboyant and he feels sometimes, you know. But outside of that, nah, you understand? You don't hear much about him the other day. He go in St. Vincent, he hear a little story about this lady and her struggles. He donated money towards the lady. His game. That's things you don't hear. You understand? That's things you don't hear. You understand? As my children's godfather. You understand? He and I share a very good relationship from ever since. He's like a brother to me. And, I just follow him from ever since. Imagine player become almost brothers. Well, fan almost became brothers because we support Andre, my family and I, from day one. We don't miss a game. When he has to go on the field, we make sure we text him. Good luck, bro. All the best. If he has a bad game, we text, hey, bro, don't worry, brother. All will be well, There'll be days like this, and we've been with Andre for years. As I've said before, this man has been flying the Grenada flag, and it's true that my family and I continue to follow him because he is just a remarkable young man. All right. Again, we owe a debt of gratitude to you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay. Right. So, Andre doing his thing. So, we are speaking with Mr. Josh. No, mental health is bigger than what we think it is. Mental health care is not the same as saying mental illness. Mental health care is just taking care of your mental space, your space mentally. You understand? And everyone should be deliberate about it. All right. So I'm preparing to go over to Mr. Josh Hector, and let's just go over to that. Let's just prepare for that right now. And of course, I can guarantee you this will be a great discussion. 1 second. Okay, folks, so welcome. We did tell you that we were expecting somebody on the program tonight, and we have Mr. Josh Hector with us. He's the Director of Mental Health and Substance Use in the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. And all of this is in observance of Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's going to be a Mental Health Awareness Day. And so we have a lot of build-up. I know that we've been having a lot of conversations in the past few weeks about suicide and general conversation around mental health. And I think we're getting to a better place with regard to conversations surrounding mental health. Mr. Hector, welcome to today's program.
Thank you so very much, Mikey. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
All right, great. So, folks, sit tight. This is going to be a very interesting conversation for the next 15 minutes or so. So talk to us about this year's theme and how exactly you plan on observing the theme.
So this year we're looking at we're focused on access and mental health in the midst of catastrophe. Two very, very important concepts, simply because increased access will ensure that post catastrophe or post disaster, that more people have mental health services available to them. And we have been working tirelessly for the past 8 months or so, doing a number of things. We've trained police officers, nurses and doctors, school teachers. We've even trained some students at the St. George's University, master students who are part of the clinical and community psychology program, just to increase the access. Why? At the end of the day, the Ministry of Mental Health does not have the capacity to serve everyone who is in need, particularly post-disaster. And we recognize after Hurricane Beryl, for example, that the need was so dire, the ministry was stretched thin. And of course, we have other ministerial partners like the Ministry of Social Development and so, who play a critical role in terms of the response, but they themselves were stretched thin and overworked. That being the case, we decided that it was important to train more people in disaster mental health response. Are we turning laypersons into psychologists? No, we're not. But we're equipping them with the tools to respond to people who need some sort of support on the outside of complicated psychiatric concerns. And just for clarification, most people do not end up having complicated psychiatric concerns or mental illnesses. What that means is that if we have a community, or we have communities where the average person can respond to someone who has gone through some tragedy or difficulty, then we would have way more people not having complicated psychiatric concerns, which will result from a lack of early intervention. And we've seen it at work already. For example, following the blast at Telescope, which was quite catastrophic for the community, we led a team of volunteers who were trained to respond to the people who were traumatized, and it was quite effective.
Mm-hmm. And so, what does that training look like? Just for my understanding, what does it entail really? I know that you say we are not training persons to be experts by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
What does that look like?
So it begins by explaining disaster and what it really is, but it focuses primarily on the expected or natural psychological reactions to disaster, so that people are now more mindful. They're aware of the expected reactions. But those expected reactions are generally what we look at in terms of duration. They should last for a period and subside. People who are responding post-disaster and those who are trained are now aware of what the natural reactions are, and they can also distinguish those natural reactions from more complicated concerns like depression, for example, and post-traumatic stress disorder, which would be constituted by a prolonged traumatic response or reaction.
Okay.
And should they recognize people actually developing complicated issues, then there's a referral pathway. They know now we can refer these people for specialized support, but most people do not end up requiring specialized support.
Got you. Now, we have or have had a hurdle to get over where mental health is concerned, and that is stigma. How do we go about breaking that stigma and just normalizing the conversation about mental illness and mental health conditions and so?
I think to break the stigma, we must first define it and help people come to terms with what they are contributing to. When we stigmatize, what we are doing is placing a mark of disdain on a specific group of people for a particular reason. So, for example, we stigmatize communities in Grenada. And when we do this, we tell ourselves we are not like them, and we will never be like them because we will never be from that community. Okay. When we stigmatize mental illnesses, and let me correct a misconception, we are not stigmatizing mental health, we are stigmatizing mental illnesses. When we do this, we are telling ourselves that these people are strange, they are dealing with something that we are not dealing with, and we will never be like them. And because we tell ourselves we will never be like them, we believe that we have the freedom to judge them and to ostracize them and to treat them as if they are less than human. Contrary to popular belief, every person is susceptible to experiencing a psychiatric emergency or even developing a mental illness. If we are faced with challenges that are so insurmountable and we do not receive timely intervention, we can find ourselves in that position. And so getting rid of stigma depends now on on how much we educate people on what stigma is and how unreasonable it is. And we also have to add to that continued conversations around mental health. We don't have to have extensive conversations on mental illnesses. As I said before, a very small percentage of every population would develop mental illnesses. But we want to talk about mental health because that is what we want to promote.
Okay, and where are we with stigma? How would you judge Grenada? Are we doing much better? Is there a lot of room for improvement? Is it satisfactory?
So, truth be told, just from my vantage point as a psychologist, judging between, let's say, 2016 and present, I could tell you that a lot more people are open to the idea of receiving mental health care. A lot, right? We are doing quite well. The help-seeking behaviors are really increasing more and more. And it goes across sex, men as well as women, the young as well as persons who are older. So we have made significant progress. Do I still think that there's a lot of work to be done? Yes, of course. And the more we promote, the more we normalize the conversation, then we will see ourselves improving even more in this regard.
But one of the things that we often ask, though, we might be willing, but what about access? Is mental health care really accessible in Grenada, and what can be done to improve that access?
Okay. Well, it's more accessible now than before, even though we are still working towards increasing the access. So, for example, we have more private practitioners now. We have more people in private practice who are definitely contributing to the welfare of our citizens. But we also have the government's role and the public sector role, which is formerly Ministry of Health, now Ministry of Mental Health, which also cannot necessarily be fully extracted from health, because we know there is no health without mental health, and those two are on par. But before, we were looking at a situation where mental health day occurred in every in health centers across the length and breadth of Grenada once a month. So once a month, people who have psychological concerns, people who also have diagnoses, would have been able to go to the clinic and receive the care that they need, because a team from the psychiatric hospital would go out to serve the people's mental health needs once a month. Now, beyond the monthly clinics, there is an outreach where people, a team from the psychiatric hospital goes out, visits the communities, not just on that day in the month, but frequently enough throughout the month, visiting people who cannot access the clinic, or people who, for different reasons, might not have been compliant. And what we've discovered is that the admissions at Mongi have significantly been reduced as a result of this. But we don't want a situation where we are merely waiting for people to end up in crisis and treating their symptoms. So now the training goes further, so that we will have doctors in the district and nurses at the clinics who can also treat people who are having milder mental health concerns. Therefore, they will not complicate, and they will not have to be sent to Mongi unnecessarily.
All right. And on the conversation of access, I also think of barriers. What are some of the biggest barriers that people would face in accessing mental health support during and after emergencies?
During and after, well, of course, during an emergency, of course, the risk, let's say there's physical risk, and the movement is not as it should be. But then post-emergency, the lack of capacity, and we saw that after burial. The fact that there was just not enough people to meet the needs. And so now, God forbid, not that we want another disaster, but we are in a much better place now to meet the needs of more people, because we have persons who are trained in disaster mental health care.
Right. And although we are trying, I know that we are a small state, and some of our resources might be a bit limited. Do we get external support? Or is your Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, etc., do you get external support so that at least you are able to serve adequately?
Absolutely, and we couldn't do this all by ourselves, because even the disaster mental health training, for example, this was run by the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, in collaboration with ICANN School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, because post-disaster they were able to deploy the residents who came in, assessed the needs, wrote some reports that were quite useful for us, and helped to influence our direction. What do we do next? What do we need? What don't we need? Because we didn't want to duplicate or waste further resources. We wanted to make sure that when we make decisions, they are based on the needs and not just on face value, because we could look around, as most people do. They look around and they imagine, perhaps we need X, Y, or Z, but we need to actually have the data. And we did gather enough data to substantiate the steps that we took thereafter.
All right, great. And as we winding down, I know that we spoke about stigma, and I just wanted to something just came to mind, and I just wanted to kind of like go back to that a little bit. Do you find that stigma around mental health makes it harder to for survivors to seek help, even in a crisis situation?
Well, truth be told, that was the prime barrier that came to my mind. Even though I did mention the lack of capacity,
Right.
but stigma is a barrier under normal circumstances.
Right. So it
So
gets
if you
worse.
imagine post disaster, it's only going to get worse. And the truth is, right, what we propose, we want the nation to recognize this. We are all part of the mental health system. What do I mean? If we change our attitude towards mental illness in particular, or psychiatric emergencies, mental health concerns or problems, if we stop judging people for exhibiting symptoms, especially when we can clearly identify, because of a series of events, because of difficulties in life, a person is having a crisis, they're having a breakdown, a meltdown, so to speak. If we become more supportive, more compassionate, then what we will end up doing is meeting the needs of our friends and neighbors, and actually helping them in a way that will stop them from developing complicated psychiatric problems. That being the case, we have this blanket where we are there for each other to the extent that fewer of us will need to be admitted to the psychiatric hospital. Granted, for other reasons, for physiological reasons, people may develop mental illnesses, they may have a diagnosis, and they may need to be medicated. We cannot get away from that ultimately. But what we can do is contribute to a new thrust or approach that is so considerate of each other. We're so considerate of each other that we actually build this protective factor, or we build a shield that was previously non-existent. And our mental health status as a nation would definitely improve.
All right, got you. Speaking of nation, I think of productivity, etc. Now, let's talk about the role of mental health in national productivity.
Well, you know what? Minus a good a good mental health status, for example, a mental health status that is going to guarantee a satisfactory level of functioning, at least. People are not going to do well at their jobs. They're not going to do well in school. For example, if I share this all the time, if I live in Sotez and I get down to St. George's for work, and I realize that the only money I had on me was spent on bus, and I forgot my wallet at home, I immediately have a mental health issue.
Right. Yeah.
Mental health issues are quite common, and they pop up when we experience difficulties or adversity. Now, let's imagine compounding mental health issues that people face on a daily basis. They have emotional turmoil or other issues that, let's say, relationship turmoil, financial turmoil, other factors. We call them the psychosocial determinants of mental health, other factors that can weigh on a person's mental health. If all of those combined renders a person ineffective because they are so absorbed by the negative emotions and thoughts, etc., there's no way they can function at work, Mikey. No way. And there's no way such a child could pay attention as they should at school or perform as they should at school we all need to become more mindful of this because we are going to be less judgmental. But importantly, it becomes important for organizations, schools to recognize the importance of promoting environments that support mental health. And you see, bullying, it doesn't only happen at school, it happens at workplaces as well, right? And whatever would be a barrier to good mental health, organizations and schools and community groups, we need to make sure, churches even, we need to make sure that these issues are at a minimum. We don't want them. I mean, can they disappear ultimately? Perhaps not, but we want to make sure that we minimize the issues that will hamper people's mental health or impact their mental health negatively, so that we end up promoting good mental health.
Right, and you just made a point, that on the bus and just like that, you forget your money or you forget your phone and you could have a mental situation. So I want us to talk about, and that might be more on the general side of things, because I recently attended one of your consultations, for want of a better expression, regarding suicide ideations. I learned a new word and things like that in your sessions, and you were speaking, and your guest as well was speaking about things or situations that may trigger someone who would otherwise seem normal to have a mental health episode. Again, I'm not sure what jargons you would use to describe those scenarios. And can you just walk us through some of those scenarios? What are some of the because in my case, and I remember even somebody said it, I'm a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist. I like things to be perfect. And if I go out to work and the internet drops off or something happens, I almost go through a severe case of depression, and I heard you guys mention that it's like people with perfectionist tendencies are at risk, because if they don't get things their way, again, they might have an episode. So with that explanation, can you walk us through some of those triggers or some of those behaviors that can trigger mental health episodes or crisis?
So, Mikey, there are legitimate issues, legitimate occurrences. Things can happen in life. Being burglarized, for example. And if I go on the extreme end, having a house burned down, for example. Those are some extreme issues which people may consider the obvious contributors to some sort of a mental episode, right? But you have things that are so mundane, and most of those issues that are mundane, they revolve around our attitudes. Why does road rage happen, for example? Why are people so upset when they're driving because someone makes a mistake? We have to ensure that we make a distinction between the legitimate stressors, because there are some,
right,
and the self-inflicted stressors. Right. If we conserve our energy by inflicting less stress on ourselves, then our ability to cope and our coping resources, especially our energy, would be greater when we are faced with legitimate stressors. Very important.
Okay. All right. I know that we have gone through at least 25 minutes of this conversation. So I would like to reserve this time for you to, if there's anything else that you think that we should have discussed that we have not, anything else that you would like to add to our viewers who are currently watching, I'll give you the opportunity to do so now.
Okay. So it is important for us to recognize that when we say mental health, we do not mean mental illness. A lot of people, unfortunately, automatically assume we're talking about mental illness as soon as we say mental health, or as soon as we even say the word mental, which simply means referring to the mind. That's it. The same way physical means referring to the body. Okay. We also need to recognize that every observed, let's say, psychological symptom does not automatically mean that a person has a diagnosis. If you are angry, there are going to be psychological symptoms. Your thoughts are going to change. Most likely they're going to be negative, which means that your actions are going to change as well. All right? If you are sad, then your mood, you will have what we call a depressed mood. That does not automatically mean that you have depression as a diagnosis, because you've experienced something that you've experienced a situation where we expect the average person to be sad and you have a depressed mood. However, if your depressed mood is persisting for a certain duration, certain period of time, then and only then, in combination with other symptoms, can we say a person is experiencing clinical depression. So I really want us to understand that mental illnesses are not as common as we think. However, because mental health is quite like physical health, each living human being does have a mental health status, and we're not always on top of the world all the time. And whenever we are down, we are having mental health issues.
Mm.
We're having issues.
Yes.
Not yet a diagnosis, but we're having issues. If those are not taken care of, they can become a diagnosis.
And I know that we are concluding, but that's the thing I wanted to find out. Like, okay, when does it become? So it has to be something that is persistent for it to be categorized as clinical mental issue, a clinical mental issue.
Okay, so quickly, let me use depression as an example, because so many people say, "Oh, I'm depressed." Okay, you may feel depressed or have a depressed mood, right? But in order for us to diagnose depression, you have to have the depressed mood, which is the key feature, which also has to coexist with a few other symptoms. Sleeping too much or not at all. Eating too much or not at all. Fatigue, hopelessness, thoughts of dying without necessarily thinking of killing yourself, hoping that you could just go to sleep and not wake up. And there you can also have some psychosis as well. People can actually have psychotic episodes in the midst of depression. Now, at least 6 of these have to exist simultaneously for most of the day, every day, for a 2-week period, at least, for us to even consider that a person is clinically depressed.
Wow.
So if you just have the depressed mood because something happened, that's explainable. It does not mean that you are depressed, as it were, and not clinically. You have a depressed mood. And these are the things that people need to understand, because we love to explain things, and categorizing is a tendency we have. But most people having mental health issues they have not yet reached to the point where they have a diagnosis.
All right, great. Thank you very much for spending the time with us. This was a very, very informative session. I'm happy that we did it. I know that it will serve our viewing audience well. And again, I would like to express our appreciation to you, Mr. Josh Hector. Folks, Mr. Hector is the Director of Mental Health and Substance Use in the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness, and Religious Affairs. And of course, all of this conversation surrounds the Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of October. And there are going to be a series of activities in observance of Mental Health Awareness Month. We're going to talk to you about that during the course of the week and coming weeks. All right, so thank you again for watching, and do have yourselves a great one. Thanks again, Mr. Hector.
Welcome.
And of course, we will try to, thanks again, sir. We will try to, I think I cut him off a little in the end there. We will try to have some more of these conversations because they are important. Right, so, well, we have used up quite a bit of our time. So what I'm going to do right now is go straight into the weather and tell you that the weather is expected to be generally fair with brief isolated showers. Tonight's minimum temperature 24 degrees Celsius, winds east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 5 to 15 miles per hour, becoming variable to calmer times, and seas slight to moderate with waves 2 to 4 feet in open waters. Heading over to our weather for Friday, we can tell you that the weather is expected to be generally fair, becoming partly cloudy during the afternoon with occasional showers. Max temperature 32.5 degrees Celsius, minimum 24.5 degrees Celsius. Winds east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour, becoming variable to calmer times. Mostly overnight. Seas slight to moderate with waves up to 4 feet in open waters. And that's our weather report for tonight and tomorrow. Bringing up a few people on the program for tonight, we have Liz, we have Diana, Hazel, Hazelanne, Sylvina, Valerie, Bernadette, Karen, Dava, how are you? Yvette, James, Nicole, also Celine, Cher, Ian, how are you doing, Ian? As well as, did I say Jacinta? How are you? Did I say Lynn, Joseph, Suzanne again, Leonora, and everybody else. Michelle, I see you there. Jane is always here with us as well. So, blessings to you guys. It's always a pleasure to be on the program and to speak with you guys and to engage with you and all of that. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, what we will have for you is your favorite part of the program, which is the National Report. You see, we have a lot of government-related items in there that we will need to share with you. So, of course, do stay there with us for a while, okay? And after the short break, we'll have the National Report, which is not as long as other nights, which is good. All right, so stay right there.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
To meet the growing water demand in the south of the island, NOASA, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank through the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, is implementing the Southern St. George's Water Supply Expansion Project. This project is designed to improve water quality, ensure a consistent supply, and protect our environment for future generations. We are upgrading our water supply system by replacing aging infrastructure, constructing new storage tanks, and installing advanced monitoring equipment. There will be dust, noise, and traffic inconveniences. We appreciate your patience during the construction phase. We believe in the power of community engagement. Your voice matters. Your input is essential. Want to learn more? Get involved. Attend our public meetings. Follow us on NOASA's social media and share your feedback. Reliable, safe drinking water means a healthier, better quality of life for all. Together, we're securing a better water future for Grenada. Join us on this journey. This project is made possible through the collaborative efforts of the Government of Grenada, the Caribbean Development Bank, and the Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office of the United Kingdom, with grant funding from the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund.
Request, repay, repeat with Ariza's FlexiCredit Evergreen Loan Facility. Qualify for a FlexiCredit with limits up to $25,000 or use your home equity to qualify for more. Extra cash at your fingertips whenever you need it, accessed using your debit card, and managed using AMI, Ariza's mobile internet experience app. FlexiCredit allows you the flexibility to top up to your approved limit any day, anytime. Already a member? Send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987. New members join today to apply. Request, repay, repeat. Use your FlexiCredit for vacations, shopping, wedding, general expenses, and more. Ariza loan terms and conditions apply. Ariza Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Shop with confidence at Quartz. Get the lowest prices guaranteed. Get appliances, furniture, electronics, and so much more. If you find a lower price on any other products elsewhere, we'll match the price. Plus, we'll give you back 110% of the difference. Shop with confidence only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store now has amazing deals, special discounted prices on wedding sets, watches, and selected jewelry. We sell top brand jewelry and watches like Citizen, Guess, and Klein, and G-Shock, all at the best prices in Grenada. We also buy scrap gold and offer the best deals and customer service on the island. Opening hours Mondays to Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Diamond Intercontinental Jewelry Store, located at the Esplanade Mall, St. George's, Grenada. Visit our brand new remodeled store or call us on telephone number 414-3114, 232-1234 or WhatsApp 533-1581. Sale is on for a limited time only.
Welcome to the future of shopping with Real Value IGA mobile app. Now, your favorite supermarket is right in your pocket. Whether you're a student, a busy parent, or in the diaspora shopping for friends and family at home, a Yachty, or a Grenadian, our mobile app has you covered. Shop online with our mobile app from anywhere and enjoy free delivery to St. George and St. David. Or you can pick up your groceries in-store, hassle-free. Convenience, savings, and a seamless experience in Grenada. All right here at your fingertips. Download the Real Value IGA mobile app and start shopping today. Real Value IGA, bringing the supermarket to you.
Anywhere at any time and have it delivered to you right here in Grenada at yogo.gd.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via superb service. We are superb distributors, wholesalers, and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibbin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
This is the GIS News for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. I am Rikisha St. Louis. Coming up in the news, Grenada signs on to Regional Regulator for Citizenship by Investment Agreement and lights on for Progress Park. We'll have details to these stories and more when we return.
Grenadians, get ready to commemorate National Heroes Day on Sunday, October 19th at the former Riviera Hotel site next to Camahorn Park. Grand Dance from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The theme for this year's commemoration, honoring our legacy, inspiring our future. This National Heroes Day commemoration promises to be one to remember with a prayer and worship segment, the spoken word, and a powerful message from our special guest speaker. National Heroes Day Commemoration 2025 will also see the official sword turning on the grounds of the Riviera site, which will then be known as National Heroes and Heritage Park. Sunday, October 19th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. National Heroes Day Commemoration. Monrouge, St. George. See you there.
Climate change doesn't adhere to a specific time frame. It fuels multiple hazard events, from hurricanes and flooding to heat waves and landslides. These events may occur back-to-back or simultaneously, creating compounded risks for our communities. Preparedness must go beyond one season or one threat. Preparedness must be year-round and multi-hazard focused. Preparedness is resilience. Preparedness begins with you.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA.
I'm a VIP. I'm vaccinated. I'm a VIP. I'm immunized.
As a parent, it is my responsibility to care and protect my children. It is my responsibility to ensure they are safeguarded at all times. It is the same for you to safeguard your children by keeping them on their vaccination and immunization schedule. Make them a VIP, vaccinated, immunized, and protected. I am Pinky Fabulous. I am a VIP health champion. Be a VIP like me.
Let's all be VIP champions.
A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs. Be a VIP Childhood Vaccination and Immunization Campaign in collaboration with UNICEF and the Pan American Health Organization.
Welcome back. Grenada has proudly signed the agreement establishing a unified regional regulator for citizenship by investment programs within the OECS, together with Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and Antigua and Barbuda. Grenada is taking intentional steps to strengthen the integrity, transparency, and long-term sustainability of the programs. Over the past 2 years, the OECS member states, Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia, have engaged in extensive dialogue with international partners, resulting in the adoption of region-wide principles that reaffirm both the legitimacy and essential role of citizenship by investment revenues in supporting small island economies. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell expressed his appreciation of all internal and external stakeholders for their invaluable contributions in bringing this initiative to fruition.
The agreement to establish a single regional regulator comes after extensive regional and international consultations with CBI industry stakeholders and our international partners such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Commission. I want to particularly place on record my appreciation to Mr. Richard Duncan, Chairman of Grenada's Investment Migration Committee, and his team, and the management team led by the CEO who's present with us, as well as the Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's office and the ministry responsible for citizenship, which helped to ensure that we got to this point. I also want to thank the Attorney General's Chambers for the work they did with other Attorney Generals in the region in supporting this initiative. We obviously wish to commend our regional partners and stakeholders, as already mentioned, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Commission for the support. Lastly, I want to thank the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Timothy Antwine, and his team for the tremendous work that they put into ensuring this could happen. as well as Dr. Didicus Jules at the OECS Secretariat for the support provided there as well, and to the Interim Regulatory Commission and its members who also work tirelessly to ensure that we are here.
Prime Minister Mitchell outlined the upcoming steps in the implementation process and also announced that Grenada will serve as the host country for the regulatory authority.
The next step, obviously, is to pass the legislation in our respective parliaments and to set up the regulatory authority. I'm happy to announce that Grenada has agreed to be the host to the regulatory authority, and our member states' prime ministers have agreed to supporting Grenada in that initiative. Ultimately, this is about strengthening the integrity, the transparency, and the sustainability of our CBI investment migration programs in our region and ensure that they operate at international best practices and at international standards. And we look forward to the continued growth and success of those industries.
The OECS member states will enact the necessary legislation to formally establish the Eastern Caribbean Citizenship by Investment Regulatory Authority by October 2025. This authority will be responsible for overseeing all CBI or CIP activities, ensuring consistent standards, robust oversight, and full compliance across all participating states. The Ministry of Finance held the commissioning and blessing of its interim headquarters at the Galleria Mall on Wednesday. The administrative offices, previously housed at the financial complex on the Carenage, was relocated a few months ago, with other departments within the Ministry of Finance operating from separate locations within St. George. Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Finance, Mike Sylvester, says the goal is to provide a safe, comfortable workplace.
The objective of moving here as well was basically to place as many departments and divisions as possible within this building. And so the IMA was able to also find space here. FIU, which was part of the financial complex, they also found space here. And many other government departments and so on. So I think the idea is that, you know, we use the 60,000 plus square foot of space as far as possible and as best as possible and as optimal as possible. And so the intention is to basically locate as many departments and divisions in here as possible.
Minister for Finance Honorable Dennis Conwell believes the new home is more than a change of address and represents resilience, adaptability, and commitment.
As we begin this new chapter at the Galleria Mall, let us be reminded no building, whether grand or modest, defines us. It is the dedication, the discipline, and the service of the people within that gives us life to the Ministry of Finance. As long as we remain committed, united, and focused, we'll continue to deliver excellence to the people of Grenada. Let us preserve this space, care for it, and use it to the fullest potential.
Wednesday's ceremony included a worship session led by Agape Ministries and a time of prayer for staff. The rite of blessing was led by Father Marcin Rumik, who emphasized the importance of dedicated service.
Like the disciple with his hands on the plough, the Ministry of Finance is called to move forward, not backward, to make decisions that are not just for today, but for the future generations of our country. So let us ask God's blessings upon this new space and even more upon those who will work here, that they may always remember that their work is a form of service and that true greatness lies in serving with honesty, humility, and faith.
Continuing the news, Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Dr. Timothy Antwine, says emphasis will be placed on empowering ECCU citizens to move from being savers to investors. He made the announcement during the church service held to mark the 42nd anniversary of the bank on October 1st. Governor Antwine explained that 1 in 25 individuals focus on financial investment when investments bring more returns than regular savings. He referred to the Regional Government Securities Market's new investment product for Eastern Caribbean Currency Union members.
For this month, there are some other activities. Our focus is continuing on moving from savers to investors. You see, in our banking system, we have close to $27 billion in savings. $27 billion. Yeah. Oh, yes. We save. We do, generally speaking. But here's the challenge. When you look at our investing rate, or investor participation rate, only 1 in 25 persons, 4%, are financial investors. Now, you can invest in business, you can invest in real estate and so on, but we're talking about in financial investing. Contrast that to the United States, where it's 3 in 5, 60%. In fact, 62% to be precise. So 62% of people in the United States invest in the stock market, generate income and wealth. In the currency union, 4%. How many of you are invested here? Put up your hand. All right, don't do that now. I'm pretty sure most of us, I am, but most of us, because that's something we want to change. So our focus this month is on encouraging you to understand how financial investing works and the opportunities for you to invest. For example, there are now 2 mutual funds that exist to give you a start. It's a balanced fund, which means it has a combination of some equities and some bonds.
St. Kitts and Grenada have already announced that the retail bond will be accessible to citizens from the end of October. Investment starts as low as $500 EC. According to Governor Antoine, it is time to build a culture of investment within the region.
At the end of October, we're going to have a retail government bond issued by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the government of Grenada. And the idea of that retail bond is to attract small investors like you and me to put something in there so that we could earn a higher interest rate than the savings rate. How much you getting for your savings in the bank now? How much you getting? 2%. If you invest, you'll get more than 2%. Now, I must also tell you, investments are never guaranteed. I have to say that. That's a fact. But typically speaking, you will get more. So you must have some savings, to keep some savings, but you want to also take some and invest so that you can get a better return and you can build a culture of investing. So what the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has done, for example, with Aspire, where they're encouraging young people, give them some shares in national or one of those state institutions, the cable, giving them a little money that they could invest in. We want to build on that. We are part of that. ECCB is a member of the working group to Sybil Welsh, and we want to contribute to helping people understand investing and do more investing.
He reaffirmed the strength of the EC dollar backed by nearly 99% foreign reserves and underscored the ECCB's unwavering commitment to maintaining financial stability across the region. The governor highlighted other activities, including Financial Information Month Festival that will be held to commemorate the 42nd anniversary.
Drama series, audio drama. If you like drama, we're going to drop an episode every Friday throughout the month of October. So starting this Friday all the way to the 31st, 5 episodes. Don't miss it. You want to get into that. It'll be exciting. It'll also be educational and fun. We'll also be having secondary school tours, obviously visits. We'll be having radio discussions. And we culminate the month of our film festival with the investment fair on the 31st of October. So lots of activities for you. If you didn't remember anything I said, you can check our Facebook page, ECCB Connects, or YouTube page, channel ECCB Connects, to find out more information on what we are doing.
You're watching the GIS News. We'll have more news after the break.
Grenadians, get ready to commemorate National Heroes Day on Sunday, October 19th at the former Riviera Hotel site next to Camahorn Park. Grand dance from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. The theme for this year's commemoration, honoring our legacy, inspiring our future. This National Heroes Day commemoration promises to be one to remember, with a prayer and worship segment, the spoken word, and a powerful message from our special guest speaker. National Heroes Day Commemoration 2025 will also see the official sword turning on the grounds of the Riviera site, which will then be known as National Heroes and Heritage Park. Sunday, October 19th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. National Heroes Day Commemoration. Monrouge, St. George. See you there.
Be prepared. Resilience depends on preparedness. Hurricane Beryl in July 2024 highlighted the importance of a community approach to disaster management. we see a greater need to empower communities to take practical steps to mitigate the impact of hazards while fostering solidarity and shared responsibility, encouraging individuals, households, and communities to promote a culture of preparedness to save lives and protect property. Preparedness is resilience, but preparedness begins with you.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA.
Climate change is real, bringing hotter days and less rain. Less rain means less water, so it is crucial for all of us to conserve water at home. When washing my fruits and vegetables, I use a bowl of water, and later I reuse it to water my plants. This is how I save water at home. What are you waiting for?
Welcome back. It will be another promise made, promise kept proud moment for the government over the weekend when the lights at Progress Park in St. Andrew are officially turned on. Installation of the lights commenced in August to facilitate the use of the park for sporting and community activities. Progress Park is home to several homegrown football and cricket clubs. The children's play area and fitness corner will also be officially opened on Sunday. Once the lights have been turned on, officials and visitors will enjoy an exhibition football match between Sab Spratton FC and Paradise FC. Sports coordinator in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Curlan Peters, underscored the significance of lighting the park for the communities it serves.
We are excited. I know the community, the parish is excited. As my minister, Delma Thomas, will say, that is phase 1 for Progress Park. And we had consultation with the stakeholders from St. Andrews a couple of weeks ago, and I know we promised a consultation for further progress. But it's very exciting to actually, the work has been, right now everything has been put in place for the lighting of the Progress Park, official turning on of the lights. This Sunday we'll start the activity from 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and we'll go on to other activities during the day. We have kids cricket competitions from the kids in St. Andrews. We'll also have the cutting or the banner or the opening of the kids playing area, where my minister put a lot into, and as a pet project, and that playing kids area also have adults bars, pull-ups, other exercising bars. So we're going to do some work there, and we also want to bless and officially open that area on the same day prior to the cricket. So we're going to start about 3 o'clock with the activity. Then we have the cricket activity. We'll have some cultural activities during the day from this the RC Methodist School Choir, the police, the Royal Grenada Police Force Band. And then we'll have the official ceremony for the lighting project, where our Prime Minister will be present, ministers from government, senators, community members, other stakeholders. I know Paradise, the whole of Paradise is invited.
Finally, in the news, the Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association has partnered with the Spice Isle Imaging Center to provide free breast screening during October. Through its Tourism Enhancement Fund, women aged 40 and above are eligible for free mammograms in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer continues to be one of the leading cancers affecting women locally. However, with regular screening and early detection, the outcome can be improved. This initiative reflects the Tourism Enhancement Fund's commitment to reinvest in the community and support the health and well-being of Grenadians. Women interested in taking advantage of this opportunity must register in advance by calling 444-1353 or email info@ghta.org. Appointments will be scheduled on a first-come, first-served basis. That story ended the GIS News for Thursday, October 2nd. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.